you think back to when we were babies and how we're completely dependent on our mom or whoever the main caregiver of us is, we're completely dependent on them to know what we need. And when we're a baby, that's totally natural. It's just a natural part of being a baby that we hand over all power to mom. We don't actually feel ourselves to be any different from mom. And our journey as we go through baby, toddler, into childhood, and on from there, is actually a journey of learning how we exist as separate from mom initially, and then how we exist in relation to everything else in the world. How we exist in relation to our siblings, or how we exist in relation to school, all of this thing. How we relate to everything in our environment. And we get a huge amount of, I guess, kind of feedback mirrored back to us in loads of different ways, where we learn things like, what am I liked for? Or what am I disliked for? What do I get praised for? What do I see being approved of within that system and within that environment? And in our little sponge child mind, we start to make all sorts of conclusions and decisions about how to be in the world based on that. And those kind of patterns can become so automatic that we can forget we have a deeper level of feeling and intuition that knows exactly what's right for us at any time. So if we find that we, in life terms, end up in situations that don't feel quite right for us, we might start to feel a bit lost, or a bit in the cul-de-sac, or we kind of run out of steam on our way of handling things, then chances are we've been following these patterns of how to be in myself. These patterns of how to be in the world, my pattern of how to survive. And it runs out of steam because it's not responsive. It's like this autopilot mode of, this is how I do life. This is how I exist. So at some point we're going to run out of road with that. At some point we're going to hit a wall. And that usually looks like some kind of crisis in life. It can be illness, it can be some big thing can trigger this. We might move house, move country, change jobs, relationship breakup, have children, all that kind of stuff, big stuff, can push us out of that zone where we know what we're doing. And we no longer feel able to cope with life. That's what it can sort of feel like, or at least that's how it has felt to me. Running the limit of doing what I felt I know what to do. So when we step into a journey like this, one of the first things that we start to get to know, because mantra starts clearing away all the layers of just stuff. It starts showing us the layers of our automatic patterns. It starts showing us the layers of our unhealed and unresolved emotions and issues and mindsets. And they're exposed so we can address them. But the real gold of that is that it's bringing us back in touch with ourselves in a really responsive kind of way. We're no longer then reliant on our old patterns, our survival systems, our defense systems that we developed when we were really young. In your words, it's like we give ourselves choice. When we're running off the old patterns of our defenses, it's automatic, it's trigger fast. And it needs to be, because we developed them for survival. We developed them for how to be in the world. So they're really, really quick, really reactive. But they're not necessarily the best for us in our now life. So it feels like our antenna, in a way, is our physical body, first of all. Our physical body and then our energy body. When our physical body gets full of stuff, full of emotions, full of all these unresolved different things, it's very, very difficult to feel. It's very difficult to feel anything beyond tired, hungry, thirsty. Anything more subtle than that is very difficult to catch. We might feel emotion, but only if it's triggered on a very big scale. It might be anger, it might be grief, it might be something that we can't actually deny, it's so big. But the subtle layers of emotion or the subtle layers of sensing might feel very unavailable to us. And these are our most useful layers in terms of our way to be in life, or our way to be in ourselves. When we can let ourselves have another look at, it can be emotions, or it can be mindsets, attitudes, reaction patterns, all of, coping strategies. If we can let ourselves have another look at them and let them be questioned and let ourselves find out, is this exactly what's the best approach for me right now? Or what do I need to do with this? As we heal those, that gives us deeper and deeper access within ourselves. That deeper access within ourselves gives us an ability to know what's truly right for us, no matter what's going on around us. When we're grounded, when we have established that sense of security and stability within ourselves, that feeling gets much stronger. If anything happens that unsteadies us or frightens us, shocks us, we lose our grounding, we lose our root, and then we start to feel a lack of clarity around our intuition. It's very easy to get confused in that space, because our body will be saying this thing and our mind might say something opposite. And then we don't know what to do, we don't know what to follow. So healing our different layers of, you could call it noise, in our body and in our energy field. It eventually leads to a really nice, calm and still place on our inner world. And then it becomes so much more easy to register. It's like we have a radar. We'll start to have a sensing of what's going on around us. What's going on in our relationships. What's going on within my body? What do I need? And then we can start to be really precise in how we respond to that. It's a deep knowing of, okay, this is what's going on, and this feels like what I need to do about it. And then we try that, and it works or it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then we try something else. But within that, we give ourselves a lot of freedom to find out exactly what it is that I need in it. It's exactly like we do with a baby. Because the baby can't say, listen, I'm hungry, or I'm tired, or whatever it is. We're playing the role of being intuitive to try and sense what exactly does the baby need right now. And we'll go through the checklist. We'll try everything, yeah? And at some point something will be what fits. Our inner world can feel a lot like that. When we're in the early stages of getting to know it. Early stages can feel like a lot of crossroads. Oh, it could be this or it could be that, I'm not really sure. But we do need to give ourselves that space of really getting to know it so that we can navigate that. We're in that better position of really giving ourselves what we need. So whether it's food, or it's water, or it's sunshine, or it's company of nice people, or if it's alone time, or it's a good cry, or it's a good laugh, these are very ordinary things. But when we don't give ourselves that space to respond to our body, everything will start to feel very drained. We'll start to feel stressed. We can start to feel burnt out. We can start to feel quite fatigued, anxious even. All of these things start building up in our body because we're not responding to what it really needs. At some point it can lead to manifestation of illness. We leave so much stuff inside that it's not healed in us, it will eventually manifest as physical illness. That's the last port of call for anything energetic we hold inside. So the more that we get curious about what is me and who am I and what's going on in me, the more that we give that a very open and healing kind of space in us, a welcoming kind of space, the more freedom we start to feel.